This is not a review for Cyberpunk 2077. This is also not just another glitch reel or an excuse for the state of the game. Instead, this is a celebration. With the release of Cyberpunk 2077, Eurojank finally has a path into mainstream gaming. Welcome to Two-Headed Hero. My name is BawssSawss, and the other head Rollinkunz is enjoying some much-needed time off due to the highly successful launch of his Tabletop Kickstarter campaign. If you want, you can check it out in the description below. So, yeah, normally we'd have a regular video up at this point in the month, but, well, let's just say I've been busy with the holidays. Cyberpunk 2077 is polarizing, to say the least. The ravening hounds of games media are piling hate on it for kicks and clicks in order to capitalize on the 24-hour news cycle. And on the other side, there's legions of fanboys that seem blind to the game's obvious shortcomings. PS4 and Xbox One gamers are largely pissed, and man do I feel bad for those that bought Cyberpunk expecting new, sexy open-world hotness, and getting this instead. I might be a little bit more inoculated to half-baked games myself due to my undying love for Eurojank.
Eurojank.
So Eurojank, what does it mean? Some see the word as a condescending put-down towards the works of smaller developers, but others tend to use it as a term of endearment. Click for Gameplay has a really good 5-minute video explaining the term in greater depth, but to summarize, Eurojank refers to a game, usually from a small Eastern European developer, that attempts to punch far above its budget and development limitations, often favoring ambitious or innovative gameplay while sacrificing things like player friendliness, overall polish, and graphical fidelity. Whether it succeeds or fails at what it sets out to do, it's pretty much a guarantee that a Eurojank title will at least be interesting. This craving for innovation is probably why I have more hours spent in Eurojank and indie titles than I do in AAA experiences. After seeing this tweet, I got to thinking, how much does Cyberpunk 2077 actually have in common with games that carry the Eurojank label? Is Cyberpunk Eurojank? Well, let's break it down. First of all, let's put this to rest. Despite what you might read on Twitter, cdprojektred is not a small developer. Cyberpunk 2077 had a development team of 500 to 700 people depending on the source. And as for budget, we're only talking like $317 million? Okay, so dev team and budget, definitely not Eurojank. When Cyberpunk is firing on all cylinders, it's incredibly immersive. You get to create your very own cyborg clown before embarking on one of 3 distinct prologues. Night City is unbelievably cool. It's a used-up dystopian hellscape draped with garbage, graffiti, and advertisements, and it oozes atmosphere from every neon pore. There's a quiet beauty to the rolling Badlands, and downtown's ominous towers have a great sense of scale. Even though the storyline is a variation on the guy with a bomb in his head cyberpunk trope, it's well told and there's a lot of fun and interesting characters. World building? Not Eurojank. The sound design is excellent and the soundtrack is a total banger, featuring car radio stations as well as original songs by the band Refused. The voice talent is also top-notch, including the likeness of A-list actor and Reddit sweetheart Keanu Reeves. Sound? Not Eurojank. What about performance? Here's my PC specs. It's definitely nothing special, and it's definitely due for an upgrade. Out of the box, the game ran like caca. However, after I ditched the horrible motion blur and knocked down the shadows and draw distances a little, I usually get somewhere between 25 and 60 frames per second depending what I'm doing. It's not ideal, but it is playable. In my entire playtime, I also haven't had a single crash. It seems sometimes like I bought a different game than everyone else is describing out there. I mean, it isn't always pretty, but so far it works. Bad optimization though, that is definitely
Eurojank.
The side missions and side gigs capture the feelings of exploration and tension present in earlier titles like Deus Ex or Fallout New Vegas. There's a ton of rewarding in-world exploration as you uncover hidden stories and stashes off the beaten path, and Cyberpunk doles out enough tools to make combat feel pretty fun. So on the surface, the basic gameplay loop? That's not Eurojank. But let's not forget that Eurojank doesn't mean bad. Eurojank games tend to offer greater exploration and depth while sacrificing other areas, so actually, Cyberpunk's gameplay has a ton in common.
Eurojank.
Still, whenever the cracks in the facade start to appear, Cyberpunk screams
Eurojank.
at the top of its lungs. Enemies are dumber than a bag of hammers, stealth is incredibly simplistic, and the cops are laughably impotent.
Eurojank.
The illusion of player choice is weak, the life paths all end up playing pretty similarly to each other, and the main plot railroads the player so hard that it might as well have been subcontracted to Amtrak.
Eurojank.
Vehicles either handle like pontoon boats or slippery skateboards.
Eurojank.
Weapon selection is pretty narrow. For example, I could only find one type of light machine gun in the entire game. So if you built a heavy weapons person, I hope you like that machine gun. Also, certain skill trees feel really unfinished.
Eurojank.
The inventory and crafting systems are buggy, clunky, and cumbersome. I made a gun so powerful that it broke the UI.
Eurojank.
For every moment I've spent engrossed in Cyberpunk's chrome-laden streets, I've spent an equal amount of time locked in its immersion-breaking bugs.
Eurojank.
Falling through floors, talking dead bodies stuck in walls,
Ow! Fuck!
magic floating motorcycles, pacifist shotguns that refuse to fire, T-posing guards, and Jackie's finger guns, only name a few.
Eurojank.
And yet, Cyberpunk keeps me coming back in spite of, or maybe because of, this dichotomy. Even with all the warts and gameplay hiccups, I keep finding myself repeatedly attracted to this glitch-laden, retro-futuristic world that cdprojektred has prematurely birthed onto my hard drive, but my time is divided in half between following the happy path laid out by the devs and finding new and exciting ways to bring the game to its knees. Also, it's not like this is the first time that CDPR has released a janky game. Their roots are Eurojank. Witcher 1 and Witcher 2? Those were good games, filled with player agency and interesting design decisions, and I loved them both, but oh boy, some of the animation, controls, and user interface?
Eurojank.
Even their big budget baby Witcher 3 inspired 1,000 glitch reels of its own when it came out 5 years ago. Eurojank developer? Eurojank game.
Eurojank.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot why I'm celebrating. Let's not forget that Cyberpunk 2077 was still an incredible financial success. Even with the bad press and the scandal, a game this unpolished found its way into 13 million hot little hands. That is 13 million gamers that are willing to drop dollars on an ambitious single-player RPG while overlooking its problems. In a landscape full of free-to-play gacha games and games as a service, Cyberpunk still sends a clear message that single-player sells. That's why I'm celebrating. And hey, on the bright side, I can still hold out hope that a chunk of these rabid RPG fans will give some of the hard work of smaller developers a shot while Cyberpunk is undergoing extensive cyber surgery. CDPR got away with selling the most overhyped and expensive Eurojank game ever created to a sizable chunk of the gaming population. And if that's not the perfect story for the end of 2020, I don't know what is. All joking aside, I'm sure Cyberpunk 2077 will be an excellent game once it's finally finished next year. Then we can turn our focus towards the rumored multiplayer mode that's in development. Maybe CDPR will have learned their lesson from this launch, or maybe we'll be T-posing pantsless through Night City with the rest of our squad online, laughing all the way as we fall through a staircase. In either case, I'm really interested in whatever happens next, and I'm not alone. Do you think Cyberpunk qualifies as Eurojank? Are there other Eurojank games you enjoy? Give us a comment. I don't do these kind of essay videos very often, but it's nice to try out something a little different now and then. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that little bell thingy if you like what we're doing here, and stick around for the next video where we'll be providing a short primer on the most interesting game of 2020. Once again, my name is BawssSawss, and we'll see you on the next Two-Headed Hero.